Hi everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the Google Analytics data that's available in Google BigQuery. We're going to be using some of that information for future analysis, but I'd love to be able to show you how you can write queries and get that information, pull it out into programs like R or Python. So today the data that we're going to be looking at is actually from the Google Merchandise Store. So right now that's in a demo account that's available in Google Analytics. You can see that it's looking at real time for Friday, November 30th, 2018. You can go in here and analyze the data and pull out, custom reports, CSV files, whatever you need. What we want to do is a little bit more of an advanced analysis. So right now, really the best way to get your data from Google Analytics into BigQuery is to be a Analytics 360 customer. That's a premium account. I think the cost, last time I checked, were around $150,000 a year. I know that's cost prohibitive for some people, but maybe a data analyst or a data scientist like yourself would like to be able to work with this type of information to show your employer or other people in your company, hey, this would be a great idea if we could get this type of hit level information out of Google Analytics and into BigQuery. That would let us do some amazing machine learning work, some forecasting, some predictions, all types of fun things. So if you haven't signed up for Google BigQuery yet, you can actually do that through going to cloud.google.com. Google Cloud does actually have a free tier. You have to have a billing account to sign up, so you'll have to have a credit card. But it's 12 months. You get $300 in free credit. But the cool thing is, after that, you have an always free option. So, as long as you don't go over the limits that they provide you, all of that will be free in perpetuity. So for BigQuery, we can see that you get 1 terabyte of querying per month, and you also get 10 gigabytes of storage. There's also a lot of really fascinating data sets that are available in BigQuery. So once you're through with an option like this, you can actually keep on using it for something better. So in Google BigQuery, once you've arrived, there's a data set called Google Analytics Sample Data. Now, this data set contains 366 tables. These tables are date partition tables. So each day will be its own table for 2017, I believe. Let's see. So, yeah, August 1st through August 1st of 2016. This would be really great if we wanted to do some time series analysis. The query that I want to show you today is something really simple. We're actually going to look at the count distinct of users and the count distinct of sessions partitioned by date. This is something really simple. You can actually export that information into Data Studio for an analysis. You can also import it into R, to Python if you want to do some visualization. My tool of choice is ggplot, so maybe in a future tutorial we'll go over something like that. So right now, the data that's in Google Analytics is actually in a JSON format. So what we want to do is we want to go in here and we want to actually preview it and see if we can pull up one of these rows. Because this data is in JSON format, we'll have a lot of nested and repeated data. So let's actually go back to the schema. Nested and repeated in JSON would actually be something like this. This field here called totals is actually a record. It's nested, or it would actually have nested data. And within here, we'd have total.visits, hits, page views, things like that. We're actually going to do something a little bit more simple than that today, so we actually won't get into anything too advanced. But if you're interested in the schema, you can go and check it out here. Just look up BigQuery export schema for Google Analytics. This will actually tell you everything that you need, the field name, the data type, and the description. So while we're here, let's go ahead and look at the data types. For sessions, we're going to be concatenating 2 strings together. That would be the full visitor ID and the visit ID. So it would actually tell you here, for a completely unique ID, you should use a combination of full visitor ID and visit ID. So we'll use that for sessions, for users, we'll actually be counting the full visitor ID. This says that the full visitor ID is a unique visitor ID, also known as the client ID. Client ID is up here. So my assumption is probably that the full visitor ID is the hashed version of the client ID. So let's go ahead and set up our query now. So we've got our table pulled up. From the screen, from the query, we can see that we're going to be working in GA underscore sessions underscore 2017 0801. So we'll be looking at the data for August the 1st. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and parse that date string that we have. So we'll be using parse underscore date. We're going to go ahead and set what that string is set up as. So that would be %year, %month, and %date. Go ahead and close it out. The column that we'll be looking at is the date column. We'll alias that as a date. We also want to do the count distinct full visitor ID. This will be users, and we want to do a count distinct of, count distinct, and then we're going to concat those two fields together, remember? So concat full visitor ID, cast visit ID, which is here we can actually see visit ID as a string, an integer, so we're going to cast that as a string. Close that out, and we'll do sessions. All right, so one of the interesting things, nice things for BigQuery is that it actually is going to pre-flight the SQL query, and it's going to try to go ahead and validate it for you. So it can tell, because we're using counts and we're using date, it actually is going to tell us to aggregate that information. So column date is neither grouped nor aggregated. So we're going to go ahead and group it, group by date. Take that out. Now we're going to order it by date. We don't really need an order right now since we're going to do, since we're only looking at one day. We're going to rerun it in a minute. Let's see what we get. Okay, so there we go. A pretty simple query. We've got our date, August the 1st, 2017. 2293 users, 2556 sessions. So there you can tell there are more sessions than users. So if we actually were to divide sessions by users, we'd actually get sessions per user. Let's go ahead and add that in, because that could kind of be interesting. So copy and paste is going to be our best friend here. So go ahead and count distinct divided by the count distinct of users, and we'll call this sessions per user. All right. Let's see, uninspected. Oh, yep, because we need a comma. Yep, all right, valid. So great. So this is good. This would work for one date. What if we wanted to do more than one date? BigQuery actually supports wildcarding these partition dates. So what we would do in this instance here is we would actually erase the 801 for August 1st. Let's say we wanted to do all of July. So we could do 2017-07, and then we're going to add an asterisk. This asterisk is actually going to wildcard and look over all of the partition tables that contain 2017-07. In a later query, I'll actually show you how you can do this using date strings for something like a table suffix, where you can actually be much more explicit about the tables that you want to query. So now let's go ahead and run this again. All right, there we go. Less than 2 seconds, and we processed 3 megs. Not a lot, that's pretty fast nonetheless. So now we have date, we have users, we have sessions, and we have sessions per user. So this isn't exact, this is more of an average. So a little bit more than 1 sessions per user. Kind of trends about the same, for all of July. And yeah, that's it. That's how we could actually get started using Google BigQuery. Thanks for watching.